Sarah, when were you in the Gaza Strip?
I was in the Gaza Strip in March of this year to celebrate International Women's Day with a Code Pink delegation.
And how did you get there?
Well, it was relatively easy. I think it's because Code Pink had prepared the way by previous delegations. We went through Cairo and to El Arish and then to the Rafah Gate, and surprisingly, we were not held up more than the usual 3 or 4 hours.
That's amazing, because so many people have been held up, like the Galloway group.
We actually got in a day before the Galloway, the first convoy that he sent. And I think they were a little miffed that we got in first. It was very funny, actually. But we had a wonderful reunion in the central square of Gaza, and with the people of Gaza celebrating. And with Galloway speaking, of course, with the Hamas leaders. And lots of the Code Pink delegation in the crowd. I have never felt such welcome or such enthusiasm or courage from the people.
It must have been a horrible destruction that you saw also.
It was unspeakable. Compared to a lot of people, I'm inexperienced. I had never been in a conflict zone. It's weird to call it a war zone because it's actually, it was not a war. It was a massacre and a deliberate attack on a people who were left without defenses, who were trapped like animals. It was easy to see on the ground. White phosphorus, which they denied using, was still smoldering. You could see it. The destruction was unspeakable. There was people living in the rubble of their homes, people without anything, with the clothes on their back, and yet the dignity of these people was just so moving. Israel was continuing to bomb all the time we were there. I mean, I remember one lovely 45-minute session lasted through our entire dinner hour. It was like accompaniment. When we arrived in Gaza and we were being greeted by the Palestinians, the first bombs went off. And of course, a lot of us who are not used to this kind of situation were very afraid. And there are spy balloon-like things, in the air. It's like, for me, it was like a science fiction film. Only, unfortunately, it was reality.
Now, tell us about the Gaza Freedom March that's being organized for January or December.
Right. This is a worldwide movement. It's picking up momentum all over the world, from Australia to France to the United States, everywhere. It is a movement to break the siege, and it is based on a long tradition of nonviolent movements, nonviolent resistance on the part of the Palestinians. It is inspired by Gandhi. It is inspired by Nelson Mandela, who has been such a strong spokesperson for the rights of the people of Gaza and Palestine in general, and strongly inspired by our own civil rights movement of the 60s. And
what are people going to do?
People are going to converge in Cairo. At least certainly the American delegation is going to do that. And then we will go to a town about 30 kilometers from the Rafah Gate, then converge on Rafah, and if all goes according to plan, we will get into Gaza and march with the people of Gaza toward the Israeli checkpoint.